My name is Kate McMahon, and welcome to the gallery. Very excited for you all to get to know Cleveland Storrs, our Artist of the Month at the Media Center. Cleveland, welcome.
Thank you very much.
So excited to have you here and share some specific pieces with our viewing audience.
Well, good.
But first, before we really talk about your art, can you give us a little bit of your background and perhaps how your art, the evolution of your art as we see it today?
Happen to have a piece of paper.
Perfect.
So I did not think you would ask that. All right. So I've had a lot of jobs to support my art habit. I've been a school teacher, boat captain, a custodian, a gallery owner, a lot of things. Let's see. And
The Cape Cod Way.
Yes, the Renaissance, like 3 jobs from
There you
every
go.
summer. Kind of worked in every restaurant
Yeah.
from here to P-Town, that kind of thing. And anyway, and so my people in the art world don't get angry, but they're like, who are you? What do you do? You know, you're all over the place. I don't get what. Because I guess in 1969, I was enrolled at the San Francisco Art Institute in a master's program in painting. It was the 60s. It was sort of like, I said, well, how am I doing? Am I improving? And the professor, I think, was more like, look, you're a human being. I'm a human being. I can't judge you, man. You know, so I thought maybe photography.
Okay.
Because instead of a bunch of 18-year-olds running around throwing paint in the air, being naked, going, the essence of being, you know, it was like this chemical at this temperature for this long.
Yes.
You couldn't fake it as much.
Right, photography.
I went to photography.
Yeah.
So I studied at a lot. I studied Boston Museum School, at New School of Social Research, Visual Arts. I would take courses with people. I took a course with Ansel Adams. And I would send the credits back to the Art Institute, the San Francisco Art Institute.
Yeah.
Then I changed to photography, and then I ended up graduating from Bard College in film. Wow. Then after I did that, I went to New York and worked as a photographer and as a photo editor at National Lampoon magazine and then at MTV in New York.
Wow.
So people are like, you know, what do you do? You know, that kind of stuff. Anyway, so that's it. So the most important thing I did was I was one of the first people to do selfies.
One of the first people to do selfies.
Yes, ma'am. I was with my dad, and we went to somebody's office. I remember this. Mm-hmm. And there was a picture of the guy we were talking to buy a car or whatever we were doing.
Yeah.
And on the wall was Ike Eisenhower and this guy on the golf course. You know, like,
yeah.
So I thought, that's pretty funny. I could do photographs. This is like 6-pound Nikons and stuff. It's like, I could do photographs of me and the guy who runs the gas station. So I ran around doing those things. Then later, and I always did those from the 60s on. Then when I worked with musicians, like more famous, like Quincy Jones or somebody, you know, after the interview or photo session, I go, do you mind if we take? And so I have a lot of selfies of like important people, you know,
that's
real
cool.
Yeah. Oh, and then I started to do sort of cartooning with photographs.
Oh.
So I would, like Dick and Jane books, which I grew up on.
Mm-hmm. I recall those too.
Okay, not many, most people, you know.
They
anyway,
just don't want to admit it.
Yeah, right. I was way before my time. So anyway, so I would do a thing like little baby Sally in her little pedal car and put her in Edward Hopper's gas station, which might have been in Truro, but it might not have been in Truro, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And do series of those.
Very fun.
Right. And that was back in the day when it was, you know, it wasn't digital AI stuff. It was like you had to do it. Then like for an example, I did a painting of me holding up my license with like a Byzantine halo. And I wrote on the license like my artistic the day I got my artistic license or something, right?
Yeah.
So then I thought that was pretty clever. So I am not a good musician, but I have a few national guitars and metal resophonic guitars.
Okay.
So I engraved that picture on the back of one of them, me holding my license
Wow.
with 6 fingers. And so I did that. Then I thought, that's pretty clever. I'm funny. So I knocked myself out a lot with my art. I just keep it to myself. So anyway, so I thought I'll do a cartoon and I'll send it to the New Yorker and get in the New Yorker magazine, which is I grew up with.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
think it's great and it's hard to do. They get like 4,000 submissions a week. I think it's something like
wow.
that. And they're like, anyway, so I started, anyway, so I sent, so when I was getting ready to do the artistic license thing, I thought, ooh, poetic license. That's funny. So it ended up being like a motor vehicle bureau with the glass, bulletproof
Like
or whatever.
being at the RMV.
Yeah,
that
you
kind
know,
of
like
thing?
one little desk
Yeah.
with the little things
Uh-huh.
you talk through and
Yeah.
stuff. So it was like artistic license, poetic license, and in the middle was gun license. And nobody at political and nobody at artistic, but a huge line at gun license. So I thought that was brilliant. I sent it to the New Yorker. They didn't think it was funny at all. So that was one project. And then what did I do?
Very creative stuff, I must add.
I don't know. I mean, nobody else seems to appreciate. Oh, so now my latest thing is, I mean, I tried different, I try anything that is funny. Anyway, so
Everybody can always use a laugh.
yeah, I
Right?
figure it's not a fact. I mean, I get a little tired of, I go in group shows and people that I've known for a long time, my little piece is up there and they're, the essence of mankind's evolution of blah, 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 for $12,000, and I'm kind of thinking like, really? It's a dot on a piece, on a camp. But anyway, so I try to stay away from that deep and meaningful, like here's the art and here's the explanation of the art.
Right.
And you have to have read these 5 books to understand what I'm talking about. That kind of stuff. Anyway, so my project now, when I was doing the New Yorker, they're very, I don't want to say picky, but they're very picky.
Okay.
And so you have to, the rules are this, you can submit, we would like you to submit to our agent 10 cartoons per month for 1 year. If you do that, we will know that you are productive and you're serious, and we may buy one that you send in the first day, right? So I did that for a year.
Oh, wow.
Well, more than a year. And I thought at the end of it, I go, these guys don't even write me back. They don't care. Most places go, thank you,
Yeah.
work on that.
Yeah, sure. A little note.
They don't care.
Yeah.
So I thought, what a waste of friggin' time, And then I always thought, wait, I have like 200 cartoons.
Right.
Yeah. And I think they're funny, and I don't care if anyway. So I thought, I talked to people. I don't know much about computers, but
Okay.
my younger friends do. And so they said, oh, you can do an Amazon book because it's just black and white.
Yeah.
And you could do it, I can do it myself in Photoshop. I know basic. And so that's after we leave here, I'm going to get right on this. I'm going to do a little book called Pro Fun Ditties. This is how I knock myself out. Pro Fun Ditties.
Fun
Deep.
ditties.
Deep stuff. And it's going to be a pre-post humorous collection, right? I mean, I don't know, like post humorous is okay. So this is going to be a pre-post humorous or something. So that's going to be a thing of cartoons that I'm
that'd
going
be
to
fun.
do. That's my
That'd
new
be fun.
project.
I like it.
Thank you.
Now, these are 3 pieces that Cleveland actually has at the Media Center as part of his show. And before we forget, I want to mention, please come visit on May 1st between 5 and 7. Cleveland will be holding his reception here at the Media Center, and you'll be able to learn more about the painting and the work that he has here, as well as more about his very storied background. But before we move on, let's talk about the paintings. Should we start with this guy first?
We'll start with this guy.
Okay.
When I was doing primarily photographing, I photographed a folk singer named Utah Phillips.
Okay.
And he somehow during the thing he said, "Well, what are you doing with your life?" And I said, "Oh, I'm painting like faux folk art." And he goes, "Faux folk? What? Ain't you folk?" So this is faux folk art. Anyway, I went to art school, so you can't be a folk artist if you are at all educated. I'm not really educated, but anyway. So this is the story of Bo Diddley's song, "Who Do You Love?" He had a little bitty house by the roadside made out of rattlesnake hide. Chimney mounted up on top made out of human skull. Take a little walk with me, Ollie, and tell me, who do you love? I know that you know the song. And this is Bo Diddley's motorbike, which he had a million crazy motor scooters and square motor scooters and square guitars and things like that. So that was
so fun.
that period of my art.
Your faux folk art.
Faux folk. And then I got to stay in the studio in P-Town for a few years with my good friends, the Clancys, Sue Alcott and Tom Clancy. And she told me about BOGO.
BOGO?
BOGO
What's
is,
BOGO?
you know about BOGO. It's buy one, get one.
I do know about BOGO.
Everybody know, you know. I didn't know about it. So this was from that period. This is my eye matey, because they have eye patches. Eye matey, cute, instead of A-Y-E, E-Y-E. So clever.
Gotcha.
So anyway, so if you buy this, you get this one.
A second.
Right.
Buy
or
one, get one.
If you want to buy this one, you would get this one.
Oh, brilliant.
So that's from that period.
Brilliant.
Then I thought, I just finished this for the show, like 2-3 days ago or something. And I realized this morning that my two heroes, I guess, are Ralph Steadman, who was Hunter Thompson's artist.
Oh, okay.
And he splatters ink, and he's like, there are no accidents, you know, everything's, you know, so anyway, I think the world of him, he's amazing. He's done like 50 books or something, if I'm right, I'm not sure. And the other guy is R. Crumb, who was 60s Zap Comics, illustrated the book of Genesis.
Okay.
Incredible, now lives in France. Anyway, they're my two heroes. So this guy, I realized this morning, I didn't do it on purpose, is pretty much like, this is our Crumb character, not exactly like that. And I didn't know it when I did it. But he has a little guy who runs around with big teeth and stuff, a snoid, he calls him. Snoid.
Okay.
So that's definitely snoidish.
Snoidish.
And it's got like splattery things. And so it's sort of like Steadman. People always go like, Ralph Steadman, you're trying to, you know, copy him and stuff. Yeah. Probably am. And what was cool about it was, to me, when I do anything, I don't really plan it out. Okay. And I thought I was the only one who did this, but it's not true. You know, it's called accidental drawing. There are a million. Someone, I can't remember who said, you know, it's just following a line. One line leads you to the next, to the next. So that was this. This just sort of happened. I'd done a few paintings in the other room, and I was really tired. I worked like pretty much nonstop last weekend or the weekend before. And I was really tired. So this was the last one. And it sort of just dripped the art from, the rainbow from the frame dripped down his face. I thought, like, I like it because it's sort of a cartoon gesture. It makes sense that it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be literal, like, you know, where is the top of his head or where is his thumb or that. It's so you get what it is.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I found a frame. All these are, you know, thrift store stuff.
Yeah.
Found a frame, cut the thing down to it, And then as I was framing it, I thought, you know, it would make sense since there's no land on Cape Cod for anybody anymore. And all my P-Town friends have to move out of town because, you know, they can get 800 grand for their grandfather's fishing shack.
Right.
So now they leave and
Yeah.
they have, you know. So anyway, so he's carrying his real estate paper and he's going to his beach.
Going to my beach.
Yeah, so then it became, and I like that. Now I'm going to start to work more like that. You know, where
That's great.
the background blends into the front ground. Maybe people will have two legs, maybe they won't. But where it just evolves into,
Right.
you know, you get the feeling, you know what that is.
Yeah.
You know, it's.
Well, and it's my knowledge of art very elementary, but it's very happy.
Yeah.
Very happy.
That guy's happy, owns a beach. I mean, you know, but yeah. Yeah.
I like him. I like him.
Anyway, so those are, you know.
And we have a lot more out front.
Right.
So once again, folks, Cleveland will be here next Wednesday, May 1st from 5 to 7 for his opening. And hope you can join us then at 17 Shadhole Road in Dennisport. But before we leave, I want to thank you so much for being here today. This has been a lot of fun.
Well, thank you for doing this. It's great.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to share with our audience before we sign off?
Not that I can think of.
Okay.
I hope people will come and I hope they'll enjoy it, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is great for me.
Well, thanks for making me smile for the last half hour.
Well, thank you very much.
And that's it for today's gallery. Thanks for joining us. I'm Kate McMahon.